Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am the Desert Claw, and this will be the first for the channel, an actual review of a Berserk chapter since I started the channel. So, if you like this kind of content, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is easy and free, and it really helps the growth of the channel. And let's get into the chapter. And of course, actually, don't let me forget this. If you are an anime-only viewer of Berserk and you do not want to be spoiled, you may want to turn away. But I do highly recommend, if you are a fan of Berserk and you only watch the anime, please get into the manga. It's great. You can buy Dark Horse has released these very large compilation volumes. I think they're around $50 and they're hardback. I've got 3 of them. They're really good. And then you can always keep up to date with all the chapters online thanks to great fan translations like this. And then once the stuff comes out, you can grab it. So anyway, last chapter, which I think came out in August, the end of it, we met the creator of the Berserker armor, and he wanted to do a test on Guts. So at the end of the chapter, he hit the Berserker armor with his hammer, and he instantly went into Beast of Darkness Berserk mode. And in this chapter, we see here, this is the cover art, Guts is about to start going crazy, and then all of a sudden, the dwarf and everybody starts chaining Guts up and seeing what's happened. And the whole point of this, actually, is apparently the Berserker armor keeps memories of its previous holder through the blood that it absorbs. So, for those of you who don't know, the Berserker armor can absorb blood and it keeps the person in it alive, but they're basically bleeding to death. So you have to be a specimen already as an individual human, and you have to have a strong will to stay alive, which is why we kind of find out through this blood recollection, a theory that's been in the Berserk community for forever, that Skull Knight was the previous holder of the Berserk armor. And if you go all the way back to right before the eclipse happened, I believe it's when Guts and the Band of the Hawk are saving Griffith, and they're going down in this chamber, and you can kind of see off panel skeletons that have brands on them, and I believe it's Charlotte who is telling the history of King Geiserik and his empire and the fall of it. And you get these panels that show King Geiserik wearing a skull helmet, and for 2 decades at least, I can think of being in this fandom, it's been speculated that Skull Knight is King Geiserik, and this chapter 100% confirms it. So the memory shows what looks to be the first eclipse. However, it looks extremely different, because instead of being an eclipse with a hand and a god hand, it looks like the Well of Souls, and for some reason there's tentacles everywhere. And my god, the art on this is amazing. I know it's a combination of both Mira and his assistants, and they are just doing a bang-up job. And on some of the panels, it looks like there are apostles here, but they look primal, more primal than they normally are. They all kind of look like just giant eyes and teeth, but they're basically doing their thing, and it looks like the event this was either the first eclipse or perhaps the second one. I can't really tell, but the big bombshell is that we see the God Hand, but 4 of the members, minus Void, are completely different. So this tells us that, 1, the theory that Void is the oldest God Hand is true. 2, God Hand are either killed or they have a time limit of sorts. It's really hard to say. I'm going to guess that those 4 God Hand that are gone were killed by Skull Knight. And so in the lore, the theory is that a seer was locked in a tower, and I'm paraphrasing this, so don't crucify me if I get this completely wrong. But he's locked in a tower and made a deal with an angel, and became a dark angel himself to fight a tyrant king, aka Geiserik. And apparently there was like some infidelity going on here. Like King Geiserik was with the seer's woman, aka Void, And we kind of get that confirmation here. So in one of the panels, it shows Guts having a memory, and once he has that memory, his armor changes. Now, I can't tell if the armor changed in the real world or just in his mind, but the armor goes from Beast of Darkness Berserk mode to back to the skull that you saw way back at Flora's garden when they were fighting all the apostles. So it goes back to that, and he's holding something, and honestly, at first glance, you see like white hair, and it looks like a cape. I thought it was Griffith. Like he was holding Griffith in his arm, like at the top of the God Hand during the eclipse before Griffith said, "I sacrifice," right? But it's actually a woman, and she's branded, and her brand is on her near her upper shoulder, or yeah, like on her left or right shoulder, I believe. And this event is the same event that went through with Griffith, Casca, and Guts. Meaning, we've always, if you're like a super big Berserk fan, you've known that the world of Berserk is one that's cyclic, which is the same inspiration that Miyazaki got for Dark Souls. All Dark Souls games are cyclic. They're all on a cycle of fire and dark, fire and dark, fire and dark. So we're seeing this same here. These cycles happen. And then there's a panel that shows that maybe potentially she dies. But what's interesting is you see a hand, and I can't tell if this is supposed to represent that Geyserk was wearing the armor at the time, or if it's just Guts' memory of him wearing the armor, but you do see that. And then he starts to kind of snap out of it, and then the Berserker armor and Guts just stop. Flat. No more Berserk, no bloodlust, no nothing. And in that moment, Shidake takes a chance to pull Guts out. And basically, at this point, he talks about the memory, and he thinks he's seeing the end. And then Skull Knight saying, "What you bore witness to was the end of a foolish king and the beginning of a dead man stalking the endless night." So, there's a couple questions that come out of this chapter. One, we do know that Skull Knight is one. I'm going to say 100%, but just to be safe, he's 80% chance to be Geyserk. We know that the Berserker armor caused him to be in a certain way he is now. Basically, he lost his soul. So I don't know how he continues to exist. Maybe just off of willpower alone. Two, the God Hand can be cycled out. They can either be killed or they have a limit. And Void being the biggest one. What is interesting though, the Cataclysm event had to have been so huge because it was all of Geyserk's empire, which apparently, if you go back in previous chapters, there are characters that say that Falconia is the same size of Geyserk's empire. However, it's more fantastical because it couldn't have been created because it was obviously created by magical means, whereas Geyserk's empire was created by men, or by man, humans. So we are leading up to a big event. It's been speculated forever that Falconia is the event of another eclipse. You already have all the people you could ever want, because when the worlds merged, the whole world became unsafe, and then everybody kind of took a pilgrimage to Falconia because Griffith and his new crazy band of the Hawk of Apostles were taking out the Kushans and putting order in the realm, and people were seeing him as a deific figure, and they're all there. Even characters that you know and love are probably there. We already know that Luca is there. You haven't seen Jill since the end of Lost Children, but I bet you she's there. The Count's daughter could be there. Everybody suspected that she has more to do in Berserk than what's led on, but she hasn't appeared since because she promised to end Guts, basically. I think she'll make a return sometime. But yeah, so Griffith is going to be having another giant eclipse level event similar to what Geyserk went through. What that does, nobody knows. Because create more God Hand, what? This is a whole crazy thing. So one of the good things, though, is apparently we're getting another chapter next month. So we're going to have 4 Berserk chapters, my boys. Like, 4. So next month, another Berserk review on the Desert Claw channel. I can't wait. So that's the chapter. You should all go check it out. Let me know what you think about what's going on in Berserk. There's so many revelations that we've been speculating for decades that have just been confirmed by Mira. But what do you think about it? Comment below and let me know, and hit the like button and subscribe for more content. So I hope you all have a good one, and once again, I am the Desert Claw.